Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we'll be reviewing the Banana Splits movie that was released in 2019. Tra-la-la, la-la-la, la-la-la-la-la-la.
Now, wait a minute. I know what you're going, oh, groan. No. Back in 1968, there was a television program called the Banana Splits Adventure Hour, or just called Banana Splits in some areas. Anyway, you could say it's a parody of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's a good way of it, of explaining it.
Yeah.
So where the other thing was, the TV show was purely aimed at kiddies, this is a comedy horror.
Yeah, and the original TV series that only lasted like 3 years, and then it went under the radar.
Yeah, underwater.
And unlike other TV shows that have lasted, say, probably for years now, some of them have gone under the radar. Like a few of the ones that just came back a couple of times. Disappeared completely.
Yeah, it started September 1968, finished in September 1970.
Yes.
So, but someone thought, hey, what a great thing to revive, but put in a movie and make it a comedy horror.
Yeah, so they kind of...
So
this is like a parallel universe. If Banana Splits, the TV show, went on to becoming a very successful TV show for the next, say, few years, like...
they're syndicated. They went around to different places. Well, you even saw it here in Australia, but it was a bit after my time because I was no longer a child, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
However,
so
I knew about it because my friends had children and stuff.
Yeah, so it's like a parallel universe. If the series really lasted, say, a few years, a little bit like if you look at Sesame Street, which has lasted, say, so many years.
Sesame Street wasn't full of repeats.
I know it's not full of repeats, but over the years they've added a few new episodes here and there, and it has not gone stale since then.
Yeah, but Sesame Street went on with like new stuff. This has only had 3 seasons, which they just did reruns. So a bit of a difference. Now, look, obviously, just to do a bit of a recap on a few things, because some of you people may not have actually seen the Banana Splits. There was basically four main characters, which are these, what do we call them? Early stage Muppets. They're people dressed up as animals and stuff. Yeah. And they were the main guys. They had Flegel, who was their leader. There was Bingo, he was an ape. You had, I think, Drooper was a lion,
dog.
and Snooky or Snorky was an elephant.
Yeah.
And they had a band and stuff and whatever, and they had little adventures for the kiddies.
Yeah.
Anyway, these guys were really, really cute and cuddly until this movie came along.
Yeah. I gotta admit, I do wonder if people who remember the series pulled into question about their old favourite TV show turning into a slasher.
Well, it's not quite a slasher. There's a bit of bloodletting, as it were, but whereas the TV series had people in suits, and everyone knew that, obviously, they're portrayed in this movie as robotics. But obviously there's people in the suits, but but they were made out to it. They were programmed and they lost control. Artificial intelligence? Yeah.
Big problem there.
So, okay, we're going to introduce the film now. Banana Splits movie, 2019 comedy horror, like we said. Produced by Adam Friedlander. Directed by Deniska Esterhazy. I think that's the right pronunciation. Written by Jed Elinoff and Scott Thomas, and was obviously based on the original Hanna-Barbera TV series.
Yeah, Hanna-Barbera was the guys who did, I guess, Tom and Jerry and a few other cartoons.
I think they did the Flintstones, did they?
Yeah, they did do the Flintstones.
They did a few things back then. They were really, really good at this sort of stuff. Actually, we've got a place called Movie World over here, a theme park, and we've got Hanna-Barbera Land in there. And it's got a lot of theme rides for little kiddies.
Yeah, I remember in New South Wales we had a Wonder World, and they often had Hanna-Barbera, toys and stuff and accessories, and there were and a lot of people dressed in your favorite characters.
I often wonder how you say, is it Barbara or Barbera?
I don't know, Barbarian.
Whatever.
Doesn't matter.
It does to me.
I know it doesn't. It does.
Yeah. But anyway, irrespective, well-known crowd, have been around a long time. Well, they might be around now, but they made a great impact back in the olden days. And now, basically, I don't know anything about the budget, and I don't know anything about the box office because I think it went straight to video on demand.
Yeah.
So I cannot tell you. However, I think it did pretty damn good from all accounts because the reviews weren't all that bad. People liked it. Just a couple of bad reviews, but I'll talk about them later. But general acceptance was not too bad because people liked it for one reason or another because it was bent a corrupt version of their childhood shows they used to watch.
Yeah,
whatever,
even though most of us who are nowadays don't even know it or even react to it.
Well, I knew the song straight away.
Yeah.
La 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 la. Oh, well. Okay.
I heard that the similar song was used for Killer Clowns from Outer Space, supposedly. Maybe, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Could be wrong.
I'll have to, no, they might have borrowed it. They might have loosely borrowed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we should review that. No, you don't want to do it, do you?
I may. But considering the fact, Killer Clowns is just an adaptation of the Blob without the Blob.
It's pretty much a Blob script, and they took the Blob out and put some Killer Clowns in, and that was it.
Exactly.
It's almost the same script, almost. Yeah, it's really weird. Anyway, here we go. I won't go through everybody. The main people are Danny Kind plays Beth Williams. That's our little boy, the main boy. That's his mum. And Steve Lund plays Mitch Williams. That's the little boy's dad.
He's
and his main little boy, Harley Williams, is played by Finley Wojciak Hessong. That's a mouthful. Now, he has a bigger brother, played by Romero Carrera, I think it is. He plays Austin Williams. And little Harley has a friend played by Maria Nash, and her name is Zoe. Cute. I won't mention the other people there because they're just they're there, but they're not. Yeah. They are the main ones, so I could go through them, but I won't bother.
Yeah, also the guys who are in the costumes for the banana splits, they're just there.
They're there.
Yeah,
they're supposed to be robots.
Although the guy who does the voice, he does all three of the characters' voices.
Yeah, we had 4 different people in the suits, but one person did the voices.
Yeah, only Snorky doesn't have a voice in this. He's sort of mute.
He's an elephant. A bit like Max Rebo in Star Wars.
Or even Sooty from Sooty, who doesn't talk. He just whispers to
they might
Matthews.
know Sooty in America.
Well, maybe you guys may not know Sooty, but Sooty was just a mute bear who often whispered to his Matthew, to his owner or friend.
Yeah, it's an English kids show, but it's been going for years. But you may get it in America. I don't know.
You may get it, maybe not. It's up to you. We
Anyway.
live in Australia, so I've often seen
old
reruns
Sooty.
here and there.
I grew up with Sooty.
Me too.
I remember him. He must be an old bear by now.
I could say.
I was just wondering. See, Big Bird never grew up. He's still 6 years old.
Yeah.
And Bart Simpson and Maggie Simpson and Lisa Simpson haven't grown up yet.
No.
And the kids in South Park. That South Park still on?
I think South Park is still on. I haven't watched it in ages.
Yeah, they never grow up. Funny that. Anyway, do you want to take over telling the story?
Yeah, sure thing. So the story begins with Beth, who's got her son a terrific present. They're going to see his favorite cartoon group, the Banana Splits.
Yay!
And just so you guys know, she's remarried to this guy named Mitch, sorry.
Mitch, yeah.
And he is a total jerk.
He is.
He's a nasty husband, and he's a nasty father to his adopted son.
And we find it later on he's having an affair and stuff, but don't worry, he gets his later on in the movie. His own.
Yeah, of course they have one extra ticket who was meant for Harley's one of his friends.
But he couldn't make it.
But some of the she ends up getting a girl that's probably in his class named Zoe,
She's cute.
who's
like
less
her.
optimistic about it because she thinks that Harley is a kid who believes in magic and
Fairies and stuff,
and she doesn't.
Yeah, she's growing up tough, you know.
Yeah, she's just like my little niece who wants to grow up to be a teenager, so she tries to pretends to be a teenager.
Yeah, what's she going? She's turning 7.
She's 7 going on to 13.
She's turning 7 this year. Going on 13. Mm-hmm.
I know.
Not quite 7 yet.
Although I humour her and say, no, you're not 13 yet. You're getting close. Don't rush. Whatever you do, don't rush, is what I say.
Yeah.
Try and enjoy this time in your life. Anyway, back to the story. They head down to the studios, and we find out from the studios this is their last ever show.
They don't tell the people that.
No, they don't tell it. It's
behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah. The new owner or the new production manager said, "We're going to change things. Yeah. This is the last show." Yeah. This has been running for years and years and years.
Yeah, and even though it was it's popular in this parallel universe.
Yeah.
According to the studio head of the studio, he says, "I'm head of the studio, therefore I say get rid of this banana split show."
Yeah, it's crap. He wants to put something better on.
Yeah.
Cowboy show or something. Or
yeah.
No, whatever. Star Wars. No.
No, please. No, gosh. Anyway, along with the Williams, there is 2 influences, named Poppy and her boyfriend,
Trade or something. What the name is.
And they're all excited about going to this. It has a mixture of adults and kids, and I think some of the adults are more thrilled about going to the banana splits than their kids.
Yeah, and
another example, this girl named Paige, I think her name is. Oh no, not Paige, Parker. Who's less than thrilled being there because
her father's taken her there because he wants her to meet the producers of the show or the people in charge of the studio to try and get her a job in
showbiz.
In showbiz, and as a good father would,
or
not
manager, whatever.
Father, manager, whatever.
So anyway, we get to the studio. They go inside, and the show starts to begin. And before it begins, let me see. Her name is Paige, I think it was.
She's the lady, the facilitator or organising the people and stuff. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, she's one of the people, sort of assistants there. And she tells the audience, if you have the stars on your tickets, you get to go behind the scenes and check out the banana split stuff.
Yeah.
How it's made and how...
And meet them. Mm-hmm. Bit of one-on-one with them.
Yeah, of course, the Williams noticed there's no stars on their tickets, and therefore they cannot go behind the scenes.
But later on, we find out that...
Yeah, Austin, Austin goes behind the scenes and goes up to Paige. He has a crush on her.
Well, which is rather cute.
And he tells her that he wants to do this for his brother. He cares for him. He's the only man, I think, aside from his father, he seems to care about his little brother and wants to make his birthday very special. Yeah. He even gives him a special wand that's actually an umbrella handle that has a stick on the end to make it look like it springs.
Yeah, spring-loaded. Very nice indeed.
Yeah, it's very clever.
A colorful umbrella made into a wand.
Clever.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it becomes very useful later on.
Necessity is the mother of invention, hey?
Yes. And of course, she says, sure, you guys can become, can go behind the scenes. She's just being nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the banana split show begins. We get to see a lot of interesting stuff. We hear the Tra-La-La song.
And they're playing bands and having little games they play and everything. Yeah. Just like the original TV program.
Yeah, even though I didn't see it myself.
No, I gave they've emulated the original TV program. I've never seen it. I haven't seen it either because it was the wrong age group. But they probably started off that way for the beginning of the movie until everybody went home apart from the chosen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the show ends, and of course the one of the assistants escorts the remaining people out of the studio, and we don't see them again till the end.
It's funny that, because you find it later on.
No, don't tell them
Nah.
that. Anyway.
They didn't quite make it home, has it?
Anyway, and Paige gives the rest of the ones with the special stars and the Williams, obviously, a guided tour. Mitch decides to make a quick. He wants to.
I'm going to pop outside and make a phone call to work.
Yeah,
bullshit.
Yeah, his wife finds him much later with his phone, and we see on the phone that it has pictures of him.
And the lady's been talking to him. He's been having phone sex. Let's be blunt. He's doing the old phone sex stuff with his girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, and he then goes on to say nasty things about Austin and about their son Harley.
Yeah.
And he's like, you should be more focused on me. Hello. When you're a father or a parent, you're supposed to focus half
on the kids.
children.
That's part of your responsibility. Hey, children.
He was never nice.
You should tell your parents that. It's all about me.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not. You got to be good kids.
Austin stands up to his father. His stepfather, I should say.
Yeah, his stepfather. Yeah. The little one, I think, is his, but the older one's from a previous marriage.
Yeah. He then talks to his mother, and she talks about how she was sad that Austin's father, he died. I would have thought he divorced her, maybe, but I don't think it's that.
Well, he might have shuffled off the small coil.
Yeah, sadly.
As he had to get somebody else to help pay the bills, and
yeah, not really nice.
Well, he wasn't a great catch. He might look good. He had the attitude of a cretin,
Yeah. So anyway, later on, we then see that behind the scenes that the banana splits, the figures, they're starting to go crazy. Especially when they find out that their show is canned.
Yeah. Now there's some sort of underlying story here. There's an old guy who's been their owner programmer for quite a few years, and they're doing a download or an upgrade to one of them. One of the ones. One of the characters, I think it was Flegel or somebody, was getting an upgrade, and the animal, or the robots, whatever, overheard the discussion about cancelling the show, and this is their only life, the show.
Yeah.
They said, well, if there's no show, there's no us. So they start to retaliate. Would you say that would be a good way to put it?
Yeah, they kidnap the head of the studio, and
do naughty
we don't
things to him.
We don't see what happens to him, but we know he's abducted, and then we watch one of them kills the influencer, the couple.
Yeah, he kills a guy. They cut him in half. Really, one of the magician boxes where you put him in a box and you pretend to cut them in half.
Yeah.
Well, this was no pretend job. This one, there was blood and guts, literally guts all over the place because they opened the box and the guts fell out.
Yeah.
It was a really good effect.
Mitch
cheap but good.
Yeah, Mitch, the cheating husband, he gets chased down by Snorky, the mute elephant.
Yeah, he drove one little, like a little clown car they drove around and he'd run him over.
Yeah, it was really clever. Every time I see that scene, it makes me think of those old cartoons where when someone runs you over, you hear a funny...
Yeah, officer, I was run over by an elephant driving a car. You sure you were, sir?
No,
yeah, an elephant driving a car.
Well, I just mean like when someone gets run over in cartoons, you become a pancake.
Yeah, you've got a pancake, and then someone blows on your finger and you inflate and you're okay again. Yeah, but
only this is not that kind of thing. No. But it does look...
He got banged around, but not overly hurt. Yeah.
Anyway, back to the story. So his wife and Austin, they find out that they try to find their Harley and his friend Zoe, but they can't find them. Oh yeah, and one other person gets very badly injured. It turns out to be it was Parker's dad, who while he was looking for a possible head person to look at his daughter's special talents,
skills, so he tried to get a job. He met one of the little guys.
Yeah, and he used a kind of a bit of a
was it like hairspray?
Hairspray,
yeah,
and
set fire to it.
Set fire to him.
And burnt his face.
Yeah,
he did a really good job too.
Yeah, he then gets discovered by Austin and one of the head studio heads and the mum, and they try to go to and Paige. She tries to go and contacts tries to find a phone to tell them about what's going on, but they can't. But all the phones have been smashed.
Well, yeah, the landlines going through the switchboard, they don't work. So obviously someone's unplugged something or cut some wires.
Yeah, cut some wires.
And all the mobile phones that they actually impounded so people couldn't use them in the show, while the show was going on, had all been smashed by, you guessed it, our little friends, the Banana Splits. Mm-hmm. They aren't stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's no chance of them getting rescued anytime soon. And it's getting dark. It's already nighttime.
Yeah, it started off in the daytime, like after lunch or something or other, or whatever time it was, and now it's getting a bit darker. Mm-hmm. And obviously, evil things happen at night. Hey, guys.
Yeah, meanwhile, while this is happening, Harley and Zoe, they walk around and they meet up with, let me see, I think it was either one of the Banana Splits, and they ask where they can find Snorky, his favourite Banana Split.
Yeah, he was a nice one.
They then lead them backstage to where the guy who maintains the Banana Splits, and they find a cage where Parker has been placed in there.
Yeah.
After her father was badly burnt, they abducted her and took her there.
Shoved her in there. Oh, collecting kitties.
Yeah, we then find the guy, the maintenance guy, and he says that they also attacked him. They damaged his... They broke his fingers.
They ripped them off, didn't they? Ripped them off.
Yeah, ripped them off.
Yeah.
And he reveals that what's been going down, and he tries to help the kids to an extent, but the creatures reappear, and one of them was very badly damaged. I think it during an encounter with Harley's mum and Austin, who they eventually end up crashing one of the those things into the ground.
Yeah. They dropped off the walkways, but up there where the lights and stuff, props come down from. Catwalk. Yeah. Then he was up there, and they threw him over the side. Yeah, and he go bang on the ground. Oh. Tingle, tingle, tingle.
Yeah. Anyway, he's been put back in there, and he's eventually the kids they try to get the keys, which the man drops, and they were lucky enough to get out, and they lock the maintenance man inside the cage
to protect him. Isn't that lovely?
Or think.
No, not really.
The kids then eventually do meet up with Snorky, and Harley was able to mimic the Snorky shuffle. The dance.
Oh, you go a little dance and it's got Snorky on side and say, oh, you are one of us. Yeah, really good.
Yeah. And
he didn't say he doesn't talk yet.
He then takes the kids' hands and heads off together. Then we the kids, the mum and his brother and Paige, they eventually arrive at the maintenance room, and there they get the gist of what's been happening. That the guys are the robots. They're starting to develop their own mind, and they don't want the show to end. So they're taking their revenge on the studio, or.
Well, that's it. Well, the people who are trying to destroy them.
Yeah.
By no show. Let's turn you guys off. Yeah.
Poppy also discovers a new Banana Splits costume, or
a
unfinished
fifth one they were going to use, but they never got around to completing it.
Yeah, called the Hootie.
Hootie, I think it was.
Yeah. She then dresses up like in the hoodie, and she kills the maintenance man.
Yeah, she put part of the head mask on and some gloves like claws, and she went a bit troppo, didn't she?
Yeah, she doesn't join us in the end when they find the mother and Austin. They find the dead other assistant and a lot of dead other parents, meaning the very same people who left earlier
didn't leave.
They didn't, and all the children had been abducted.
Yeah, so all the parents got killed.
Yeah.
And all the children had been spirited away to another place.
Yeah, they kept hearing this weird, probably music.
Just like the Banana Split show.
Yeah, they started doing things with some stuff, and they're scaring the children.
Yeah, they're doing the same routines, but in a more
sick way.
Bent, grievous bodily harm sort of way. as a kid's show, it was all fun. You open a letterbox, all these little letters will just fly out and hit you. In this one, you open a letterbox, and the flamethrower comes out and burn the crap out of you. Yeah. Little things like that.
Yeah. I should
really
mention, I forgot to mention, guys, that there is one other character in the Banana Splits. He's not he's a human being.
Steve.
And he's sort of the human form in this movie.
They're offside a human guy,
Just like when they often have it in, if you're living in Australia, we have a character called Humphrey, and he would often have a human, person host with him. Yeah.
Who didn't talk either.
Yes.
So he's offside, had to do the talking. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And what are we doing today, Humphrey? Bit of mime. Oh, really? That sounds like fun. Yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, Snorky arrives with our 3 other children, and he starts chaining them up in a sort of Ben-Hur fashion.
Like the old galley boats and stuff where everyone's got a leg iron on and everyone has the same chain.
How they got the chains, I don't know where.
They're very resourceful animatronic things.
Yeah.
Anyway, Snorky gives the little boy Harley the key to unlock himself.
Yeah.
Because he likes him.
Yeah, eventually Harley was able to unlock the chain, and he tells the others to be quiet and we'll sneak out of this place.
We're honey rabbits.
Yeah. Anyway, so soon enough the kids slowly try to leave, and then the mum takes on the Banana Splits, and along with her son Austin.
Hey, Laura Croft Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Move over. Mm-hmm. Don't get in the way of an angry mum.
Yeah, she even used the special wand, the umbrella wand, and stick it into one of the heads of the Banana Splits.
And went plongs and let release the spring, went straight into his head and short-circuited his brain. Oh, there you go then.
Yeah, they quickly escape out through the some of the kids escape out to the same place they came in, and then one of the other Banana Splits, the one that was damaged during that fall, appears, and he tries to hurt the remaining survivors. But fortunately, Snorky appears, and he fights. They fight it out.
A fight to the death.
Yeah. Yeah, eventually.
I'll rip out your resistors and you take my capacitors and whatever, yeah.
Snorky quickly bear hugs him and definitely crushes the other guy.
With the head or the body or whatever.
The other one
he broke him anyway.
kind of takes out whatever
Snorky's heart.
sort of heart.
Well, he obviously had some sort of central processing unit or something.
Yeah, Snorky was squeezed him until his battery wore out.
And they both were laying there limp on the ground. Yeah. I often feel that way. Yeah.
Harley approaches Snorky, and he says goodbye to him and says how he will always be his favourite. And Snorky dies there.
Yeah, poor Snorky.
Then the police arrive, and the ambulances arrive, and whoever else arrives, the parents maybe, or some of the living parents, or
whatever,
coming to take the children home. And of course, Parker, who tells her mum, I don't want to do any more acting, and Austin finally tells his feelings to Paige, the girl who he felt was falling for, the assistant, and she kind of kisses him.
Yeah.
And Beth finally approaches her husband, who survived the Snorky.
So I've been out here, I've had a hard time. And I've been run over by a car, just turned around, punched him in the face, I want a divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as the ambulances, police cars are driving away, he's
standing saying, "What?
What about me? I just broke my leg. I have a."
Well, you didn't break your leg. He wasn't feeling well. He's saying everyone's gone, and all of a sudden he wasn't alone.
Yeah, he gets run over a second time
by Poppy, who's got one of the clown car type things with, you guessed it, the remains of
the banana
splits, and one of them starts to wake up. And he's going, whatever, he's laughing, while Poppy's going, la 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 la. Yeah, it says she snapped.
Yeah, I think the rubber band in her head is definitely snapped.
The little guinea pig in the wheel has died and gone to heaven. Yeah,
yes. Yeah. Anyway, that is the movie. And
so it's a good, fun comedy horror movie. Now, I have never seen the original Banana Splits TV show. Now, some of you may have, so it might mean a lot more to you than it did to me. But I still enjoyed it because I like parodies, and I like the way they bend things around to make them different. And this is different.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the real Banana Splits, I could see why they would depict them as a creepy sort of type of character when you think about it.
Well, I don't like clowns. Mm-hmm. Ever since the time I took your sister to the circus when she was 6 years old, and I said, hey, why don't we sit in the front row so we can see everything really clearly? Never sit in the front row because that's where the clown's going to pick his people from. And guess who got picked by the clown? Me. So shortly after, I was in centre ring, and I was part of the show. And I never trusted clowns ever since. So, no. So I sit up the back now.
Yeah. Well, it's a better view that way. You get.
Oh, yeah. No, well, you see more at the front. But if you want to be part of the show, sit in the front row. If you don't want to be part of the show, sit out in the car park. No.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I do think that that it was an awesome movie, and I think that some of the bits, I mean, some of the dialogue in it, I didn't take really seriously because I was like, seriously, you can't. There's some of this dialogue was not very believable.
Yeah,
I didn't throw a punch at it. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool all around. I mean, I didn't like that. I did think it was funny that the father gets run over twice.
Oh, yeah. He got run over first, and he got up, and then the second time he got run over, and he was dead the second time. Served yourself right. Now, I was saying to Sarah, see, if they went for a divorce, his ex-wife would have had to challenge him for so much of the family assets and stuff. You get 50% if she's lucky, maybe more. But now he's dead, he might have been insured, so she's probably better off now.
Oh, this is an interesting thing I found out. Austin is dressed at the way Michael Nesmith? Yeah, dressed while on the monkeys.
Beanies.
The whole beanie thing.
There was a reference to the monkeys when I was reading up on this, that this was done about the same time as the monkeys. Maybe monkeys have been out a bit before, but they sort of did or you could say a kiddies version of the monkeys, a group of guys hanging out together, musicians, but these were animals. So these were animals and having little adventures. So I think that was the catalyst for the monkeys. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I mean, the monkeys were the catalyst for this, yeah. And that's where they got a bit of a similarity there, and that's why the kid probably had a bit dressed with his beanie, a bit like Mike Nesmith and a few things. And
does make sense.
Yeah, and actually, didn't Jason Nesmith write the new version of the Tra-La-La song or something for the new movie?
Yeah, Jason is sort of the son of Michael.
Yeah, one of his younger sons, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, Jason Nesmith, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you didn't know that, guys.
Yeah, also, guys, the Banana Splits, the guys in the costumes, they're actual dancers they use.
Yeah, the choreography stuff, they move around. See, the problem is, people think, dancing, well, there wasn't that. They were moving around, but the problem is, what's a good example? Is it Resident Evil? Or one of those sort of movies where it had lots of zombies running around. All those extras there who were playing zombies were actually dancers because they wanted to go through the same movements. We had to do a second take and a third take, so they'd actually rehearse the movements and be in the same place at the same time for different takes.
Yeah.
So so when you're doing this, you run around in the suit, and you can't probably see where you're going all that well. It's really good for someone who can memorise your steps.
Yeah, I think Mike is. We were just when we were watching it last night. We found out this film was filmed in, where was it filmed? The studio itself.
Well, there was some mention, I think, in the credits of South Africa or somewhere. But that could be a production company. I really don't know. But I haven't found anything on the internet about it. So it appears to have been made in South Africa. Maybe. But it might have been made by Warner Studios or somebody, but it was still made. Yeah. It probably keep the cost down. I don't know. I couldn't find too much about it. So I've got no idea where it was made. I could not I involved at the credits at the end. It was an indication. Now, reception. Most of the reviewers, and I say most, thought it was average to good. Not fantastic, average to good. Because obviously, it's a lot of tongue-in-cheek sort of stuff. Everyone knows what the bar splits were. They kept the dialogue simple, etc., etc., etc. It's a good, fun thing without being right over the top. So they weren't going to go, hey, we're going to give it 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10 or an A plus. Or, yeah. They're not going to do that. They're not going to, So, they said, it's watchable. It's fun. A couple of guys had some negative reviews, and I don't even understand what they're talking about.
I wish I knew.
Well, where is it? Okay. Ben, Kenningsberg, of the New York Times, gave the film a negative review, writing that it is far less crazy than it wants to be and far more soporific, whatever.
What's that mean?
I've got no idea, than a synopsis would suggest.
You can't even say what...
How about in English?
Doesn't sound like you spoke a real word.
Soporific. Soporific. I never heard of it.
Is that even a word, guys?
I've got no idea. I just got no idea. Yeah, that was probably the worst one out of the whole. I don't know what he's talking about.
Is he even... as I said before, is that even a word?
Soporific. I have to have a look. I don't know. Soporific. Does anyone know what soporific means? It's Soporific. I got no idea. And I don't know. I got no idea.
Go on, try another one. Go on, give us another one.
Just some said it was really, really good the first half of the movie, and then the ending let it down, that sort of stuff. But this last one was average, and here's one. Luke Thompson, writing to Forbes or whatever, says that until we get an actual Five Nights at Freddy's movie, this does deliver in that unique niche of furry animal animatronics scorn scary. See? And that's the general attitude for the positive ones. See, it's fun. It's a little bit like WALL-E and that sort of stuff. A little robot comes to life, gets a bit of a brain. That sort of stuff. And, it's fun. So a lot of people die in it. You expect a bit of blood and guts and gore and dead burnt bodies in a good fun movie, don't you? Yeah,
but I like it that what were the influences where the inspiration came from? I think there was a bit of some they got a lot of inspiration from a lot of old 80s movies. I think it was a lot of inspiration from those.
Well, I don't know. I didn't go that far. I mean, they got it from Bar Splits. Having a look. Okay, Esther Hazy was hired as director with screenwriters Eleanor and Thomas, having conceived the idea based on inspirations from 1986's Shopping Mall.
Yeah, that one I heard of.
And Child's Play. Mm-hmm. So, that's also...
Yeah,
they got inspiration.
I mean, Shopping Mall, was one of Roger Corman's stuff, or at least his wife worked on it, I think.
Was it Mrs. Corman? I didn't know she got into it.
Yeah, that's what I meant by those types of 80s movies, where they have a bit of a fun with a little bit of comedy, black comedy type stuff.
Black comedy can be good sometimes. Sometimes I've seen black comedies and they're not all that funny. They're just in the middle. They're not funny. They're not serious. They're just flatlining with it's a couple of one-liner jokes thrown there, and we call it a comedy.
I'm kind of glad that the Banana Splits came out now. I mean, in 2019. I don't know what would have happened if the reception was back in the 80s. Maybe people would have taken it the wrong way. You said before in the past, Mike.
Sometimes it's timing, yeah.
It's timing. It could be the wrong audience, or you might be upsetting a few people.
Well, it's all like let us say a good sense of timing. Universal Studios.
Right.
They did the Frankenstein movies and the Dracula movies and the Wolfman movies. They made so many of these. Says, right, we are now finished with them. Then they gave them to Abbott and Costello to play with them.
Aha.
And then they made them into comedies. There you go. Good timing. Fresh in their mind. They got good mileage out of it. Maybe,
a good laugh or two.
Well, but they took it from a horror drama or drama horror and made it into, well, you could say black comedy.
I'm kind of glad that Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis didn't make one of their own.
Well, they did a couple. They did that scary one, that one,
Scared
that Bob
Stiff
Hope one. The Scared Stiff, which was a remake of that one that Bob Hope did. Ghostbreakers, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we know what happened then,
and
guys.
Ghostbreakers was a far better movie, and even Martin and Lewis thought the first movie was a better movie, and they couldn't understand why the studio wanted to make it with them, and they said, "You're under contract, just make the bloody movie." And they couldn't do it as good as Bob Hope.
Yeah, even if the dialogue was a bit, they had to divide these the funny slapsticks for Jerry, but the serious stuff for Dean. Even though there's not very much serious stuff.
Bob Hope was the leading actor, and he had a manservant. Can't remember his name at the moment. And Paulette Goddard played the leading lady, I think. Now, with the Martin Lewis one, had Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin working off each other, trying to cover the Bob Hope bit, and less the valet.
Yeah.
They could have brought some of the valet's goofiness into Jerry Lewis, but it just didn't quite work. It was all over the shop. It didn't work. They did not have the same feel.
Yeah.
And I do like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin movies, and I liked Jerry Lewis movies, and I liked Dean Martin movies, and they separately. But they couldn't remake the movie as good as Bob Hope did.
Yeah, it's exactly.
And why are we talking about it?
It's just time, as I said before, timing is everything in movies, or in anything.
If you bring a movie out at the right time, and it also depends what else is playing at the theatre. You could make a good money out of them, but sometimes you go, oh, that died and it spun the whole theatre. What happened there?
As I said,
you find out another good movie's on.
As I said before, if Banana Splits came out, say, maybe in the 80s, like at the beginning of the 80s, and then some of you guys would have remembered it when you were a young 10-year-old or an 8-year-old, and then you find out that they're making a Banana Splits movie, and you think, ooh, goody, a Banana Splits movie, I'm going to watch it with my kiddies. No. And then you go there, and then you're in for the shock of your lives, and then you find out it's not what you expected.
No.
Then you'll be mortified or traumatized, or feeling a lot of hate, and a lot of the numbers.
And the kids would be so scared.
Yeah, I can imagine the amount of people, the audience members, who may not attend watching it if it went to actual public screening. Could you imagine it, Mike? I think I can.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. I was looking for it here. This film was rated R. By the Motion Pictures Association of America.
That would be confusing.
For horror, violence, and gore. That's not bad, guys. Marking it as the first film adaptation of a Hanna-Barbera or cinematic Croft property to receive this classification.
What's R stand for again? In the film genre?
R-rated, restricted viewing, like young people's kiddies aren't allowed to see it.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
because
it could be violence, could be nudity, could be whatever. But
I heard of Classify M, and I heard of G.
Well, that's mature, and
G
G's general exhibition.
Yeah, general.
Yeah, 18 plus, 18 and above. But this is R. It's restricted, so not recommended for people under a particular age group.
Yeah.
Unless they're on, you can probably get around under adult supervision, but they recommend no.
Yeah, I remember
it's a warning.
In the 80s, they try to fight the censor guys, the ones who give them the rating stuff, and they try to make sure the movie is given a low rate score.
The point is,
they can still air it.
The problem is if you have a really heavy rating on it, like an R or it's a warning saying there's going to be violence, maybe. There's the blood and guts and gore, stuff which sensitive people, kids shouldn't see.
Yeah.
And that's what the problem. It's a warning. I don't think you're not. I don't think this case you're not allowed to go see it, but be warned, it's R-rated.
Yeah, because as I said before, when George A. Romero and the other guys came out, they were experimenting on films and experimenting with audiences and seeing how far they can go to shock film audiences.
Well, okay, go back to, I was talking about Universal Studios and Frankenstein and Dracula. Back in those days, they were horrific movies. By today's standard, they're pretty lame. because we've been desensitised so much over the decades, we want more and more and more and more. Yeah, Frankenstein Dracula could be on a Sunday afternoon matinee, and the kiddies can watch it almost.
Yeah, I mean,
but back in those days, it was like, ooh.
Yeah. It's just that many years later, they had a. I imagine years later when that came out, the sort of thing came out, the rating board guys, they didn't know that they'll get more that audience would be desensitized by the violence.
That's often the more you give them. It's like war. If you live in a war-torn country like in Europe or Middle East or somewhere, Middle East more so in Europe, and if people grow up in a war-torn country and they're born into it, they think it's normal. Mm-hmm.
True.
You know? So, and that's just taken to the nth degree. I mean, so when you come in, if I go somewhere else, another country, and there's no war on, I think it's strange.
Yeah, true.
So it's just it's what you get used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
as I said before, in the 80s and the 70s, whenever something as gory comes out, they're either dragged to court and.
No, they're not.
Well, if you watched Evil Dead, they were dragged to court because of how gory it was, and it was a little harder for them. They tried to tone down the gore, but it still was gory according to some people in the census board, guys.
Yeah, and they just trying to squash it. Yeah, but that's not quite the same as going to court and just saying, hey, they're pulled in, hey, please do this, blah, blah. They try to find them maybe, get them to change the movie, do something,
Yeah,
but that was a movie they made.
Yeah, and it doesn't change the fact that audiences probably enjoyed it, maybe, and take delight in this type of filmmaking.
Human beings enjoy being scared.
Yeah.
Especially if they can't hurt us.
Yeah.
The other go. If I can watch something scary on a movie, I know I can always turn it off.
Yeah. The other day, me and my sister were talking about the past and how she grew up with watching horror when we were, when we were 7 or...
That was when I had a smaller collection.
Yeah. And at the time, my sister watched, I think it was the Frozen
Dead, I think, and the Mad Magician with... Vincent Price in it.
Yeah. She watched a lot of those types of movies.
Yeah, and they were rather good. They're pretty tame by today's standards, but as a kid, she was only 12 years old or something at the time, and she was, ooh, these are good.
Yeah, when I was little, I didn't develop into that sort of thing until into my teenagerhood. Back then, I was a little bit more concerned about what to watch.
I could tell you a bit of a story about when. Actually, my eldest daughter, she doesn't do a podcast with us, but when she was a kid, she had a sleepover, and she asked her friend, did she want to watch a horror movie with her?
Yeah, I guess what?
No, she said, and she used to be watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer and that sort of stuff, and my daughter thought, well, that's okay, she watches Buffy, so she showed her a real horror movie, and this little girl was crying because she was so scared.
Yeah, I think it was The Blob.
I don't know if it was a blob or something. It was something tame like the blob, but she was so scared because she'd never seen anything like this before, and it scared her. She was only 12 years old. And never been...
Totally scared.
No, never been shown a horror movie or a violent movie or anything else. It's all been kiddie stuff.
Yeah.
Parents controlled what she watched on TV and movies or whatever. Yeah. And had this come along and say, what the hell's this? And it scared her.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyway,
let's do a little thingy-wingies now. These are available.
Yes.
This is almost a brand new, a couple of years old.
Yeah,
it is available through eBay. There are plenty for sale. Mm-hmm. Amazon, you can rent it. There are some for sale. Mm-hmm. And that being the case, they should be available through other sources as well. Now, I'm going to give it an 8.5.
I'm going to give it...
Only because I think I got enough to really compare it to. I think it could have been a tad better. With the storyline to make it a little bit more interesting, but it's still not a bad movie. But I think it was lacking a little bit for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but I'll give it an 8.5. That's a fair rating for this movie. It's pretty good. It's I wouldn't say it's a B movie. But it's not the top of the A pile either. You know. Yeah.
Work on it.
Well, no, it's a few things lacking, and I can't actually put my finger on it.
Yeah,
maybe it's the dialogue because when you've got kids in there, it's really hard to do sharp dialogue.
True. It's so weird when you look at a movie. I mean, 20 years ago. Not 10 years or 20 years ago. Just 10 years ago, I thought that movies were getting more sharper in storytelling, and I feel like sometimes we've lost something in that. We seem to have lost that part to making a good story and making it stick.
I think I've mentioned this a few times over the years, but what the problem is, with a lot of filmmakers nowadays, let's say it's a slasher movie.
Okay.
They say, okay, we're going to have some people go to this haunted house or this old hospital or somewhere or other. They're going to be a band of 4 or 5 or 6 people, so many guys, too many girls, blah, blah, and blah, blah. And they get the formula happening and say, and they know what's going to happen in there. They're going to have some demented person or a ghost or a demon or something in there killing people off. That's fine. Mm-hmm. And then they've got to work some dialogue around it. Mm-hmm. Where's the storyline?
Good point. Mm-hmm.
Is there a backstory on the people? Not necessarily. Basic dialogue, and it's all jump scares and whatever. And there's no story. Now, having said that, there are movies now that are also going out there. They're called dramas. Okay? D-R-A-M-A-S. No one's running around with a machete or an axe. It's a drama. And dramas usually tell a story. But how many people want to watch a drama in preference to a slasher movie?
Good point.
I would like to see a slasher movie. I'd like to see a slasher movie with a storyline.
Yeah, true. Same here.
Yeah, but sometimes they fit the storyline and they just go for the thrill.
The cheap kills.
And that's the problem. They've got the mix pretty good, but they're lacking something, and that's usually the storyline. It's just a bit on the lame side. Yes, another group of kids, another psychopath, whatever. Here's machete. Right, thank you. Check it in.
Yeah. Someone commented on, I think it was a movie review, said that this was like Charlie Chocolate Factory if the kids were being killed or being abducted or a thing like that.
Yeah, if they changed. Actually, if they made Charlie in the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka or whatever movie, the version you're going to redo, and made it
a horror movie.
There's so much you could do with it. You could put the kids into the chocolate bars and stuff. And
that would be creepy. I was just brainstorming something like that about that, and I think that would be a really good concept to have.
Put it through a mincer, throw on the chocolate. No one will ever know, and everyone's eating children instead of chocolate.
And you think that, and Willy Wonka comes off as a nice goody guy, but actually he's a dark side.
Yes.
I'm just spitballing.
That's a new flavour. What's it called? It's called a Charlie bar. He's in there.
Yeah.
A little bit of Charlie in every bar.
Or every bite.
Yeah, a couple of molecules here and a couple of molecules there, and whatever.
Yeah, wouldn't that be an interesting commercial to say? Yeah. Anyway, my rating now, I would say 9.5 out of 10 myself.
Ooh, you like it.
Because I think it was an awesome concept. It was something new, and which is as you may or may not know me really well, I'm into something. Usually, I'm into something very new.
She's an independent filmmaker. She likes something that's stretching the imagination and the boundaries.
Yeah. Mike was also telling me the other day when we watched this movie, he was saying that would they ever make a sequel out of this movie? Because the Banana Splits remains were taken away. I thought when they did that scene, I thought there was a chance that the police would take them away for evidence or something kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it is a comedy movie.
I know.
But the point is, she is not a technician. She can't rebuild them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. True.
However, she could find somebody. And they can do it all over again somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I've got nothing else to say.
Me neither, guys. So, the other thing I like about this movie is I like the comedy way of these deaths were taking place in this movie. Like, I liked it how they used a lollipop and stabbed Stevie in the mouth.
Yeah, straight down his throat. With a prop lollipop, made out of probably wood or something, and they ran straight down his throat. His throat looked like he looked like a frozen neck lizard by the time I finished with him. He choked surprisingly. You never swallow your lollipops whole. Yeah.
And one of the guys, I think it was the head guy, he got torn in his limbs got
he
torn
wasn't
off.
on that wheel thing, like
Yeah.
and then they stopped on thingy, and they ripped his arms and legs off and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
Gross.
good stuff.
Yeah. Soon enough, he was like what you would describe, Mike, in
Torso Man.
Yeah, like the character from Weird Allen song.
Albuquerque.
Yeah,
Albuquerque. Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah. It was hilarious, guys. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's about it for us tonight. So feel free to check it out on Amazon and eBay if you can.
Yeah, look, it's
and
good.
Be sure
you can rent it. You can rent it.
If they do have the TV show on DVD, be sure to keep the date in mind, 2019.
2019.
Yeah,
there you go.
If you don't want to end up with the actual original cartoon and be bored.
Well, this is the series. It's the movie.
I know.
It's a bit of a difference.
It's a big difference. I don't know if they ever did do the TV series on DVD or video.
I don't know. I certainly hope not. No.
Anyway, that's so. I hope you guys check it out and give us your thoughts on it.
It's fun if you like a bit of gristle, and actually, the kill I liked the most is when the guy was cut in half and his guts fell out on the floor. Ugh. That was great. You never see that. You see a bit of blood, but his guts just spilled out, intestines and stuff. It was. Did you like it?
Yeah,
I liked it.
It was a change.
It was different.
I mean, most of the time
they didn't cover it up. No.
Most of the time, with some of these movies who do dabble with the cutting in the box trick, they will just someone would just come in and save the day, or you don't see it happen,
or you just have a lot of blood.
Yeah.
He took the box. He opened the side of the box. We split the box in half down the middle there, and all the guts fell out. Yuck! Yeah,
Yuck. It was disgusting. It was very gross, but it was really
good fun. It was great.
Great.
That's the best part about it.
So that's about it for us tonight, guys. Feel free to check it out and give us your thoughts on it. And so this is our last episode, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
What's my name? Oh, yeah. And Michael.
And we'll see you guys for our next podcast, everyone. So see you around.
Bye, guys.